Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to today's webinar, where we will delve into change management and adaptability at the workplace and gain valuable insights from different perspectives and approaches. My name is Soufiane Ben Feida, and I'm honored to be your moderator for this event. I'm excited to guide our discussion, facilitate the Q&A sessions, and ensure that today's webinar is an engaging and informative experience for all of you. So, before we begin, let me briefly outline our agenda and introduce our distinguished speakers and guests. So, first of all, uh, we have our guests right here and our speakers, which are Iba Bejawi, which we will not be able to hear this in this webinar. She unfortunately can't talk because she lost her voice this morning. So Shorok Jorhom will take her over her part. We, okay, so let's look at the table of content. We have the business approach, which I'll be taking over, the HR approach that will be presented by Si Mohammed Hafidi, the international studies approach that will be presented by Shoroq Shorhom and Asma Al Arabi. And for the psychology approach, uh, will be also taken by Shoroq Shorhom for sadly the same reason for Hiba, but she's present with us today on the webinar. Okay, uh, let's see if any one of you have some questions, maybe questions for the speakers or for the guests. I think there won't be any much questions, so we're gonna dive into my approach, my business administration approach. So, for the business administration, we have change management. Let's first of all define what's change management. Change management is like a structured approach to transitioning from transitioning individuals, teams, and organizations from their current state to maybe a desired future state. It's actually a fundamental concept in the business administration, especially actually in the business administration. So, uh, why does change management actually matters? Change management is essential because it ensures that changes are implemented smoothly and with the minimum resistance, and this leads to a higher success rates for projects and initiatives, especially when it comes to the business world. Change can be difficult, especially when it comes to maybe being in a business focused company. So, in an ever evolving business landscape, adaptability has emerged at a linchpin of sustainable growth and competitiveness. So the ability to actually effectively or to actually manage change, whether it's driven by technological advancements or economic fluctuations, the ability to effectively manage change is not merely desirable desirable skill, but uh, an imperative for organizations striving to thrive and prosper. And let's move to so for throughout the next hour, or maybe less, a little bit less than that, we will delve into the uh, intricate realm of change management, analyzing it from the lens of business administration and all of the other approaches. So, whether you're seasoned business leader or an aspiring entrepreneur, or maybe even a dedicated professional seeking to strengthen your adaptability skills, uh, this webinar is tailored to equip you with the knowledge and strategies needed to not only survive but thrive in an era of constant change. So we will move to the HR approach that will be taken by Si Mohammed Hafidi.
Well, thank you very much, Sufyan, for defining the change management from the business approach and for showing the importance of the change management. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining again. And let's delve into the HR approach to mastering the change management and adaptability in the modern workplace. So HR plays a very important role in driving the organizational success through various strategies. So these are some key points or some key elements of our approach, which is designing and implementing training programs. So in this section, we prioritize and we design and we implement training programs that enhance employees' adaptability skills. This equips them with the tools and knowledge needed to thrive in a dynamic work environment. Second, we have the human centric change, or maybe developing the change management, which is this approach places a strong emphasis on developing the change management strategies that consider the human element, and we understand that employee emotion and concerns must be addressed effectively to ensure a smooth transition during a change initiative. Third, we have the fostering and supportive culture, which is creating a supportive workplace. And we are committed to create a workplace culture that actively encourage employees to not only embrace change, but also take ownership of their career development. This culture of empowerment and growth is very fundamental to our HR philosophy. So we have also the alignment with the leadership. So finally, the HR collaborates closely with leadership to ensure that change efforts align seamlessly with the organizational goals and values. This partnership is critical in driving successful change management. So this we move to the missions within the HR revolves around two core principles, which is facilitating a smooth transition. So when it comes to an organizational change, we are committed to do a facilitating smooth transitions. This means ensuring that every employee understands the changes and has access to the necessary resources and receives the support needed to navigate these shifts effectively. And also, this would be very helpful in enhancing productivity. And during these transitional phases, we contribute to the overall success of the organization. Second, we have the what is it called the building a culture of continuous adaptability. So this would be this is a place this is a great importance this we place a great importance on building a nurturing culture of continuous adaptability. This involves a fostering mindset of learning, agility, and resilience among our employees. So we achieve this through the implementation of targeted training programs, leadership development, and initiatives and feedback mechanism. In conclusion, our mission is rooted in facilitating a smooth transitions and nurturing a culture of continuous adaptability. So by doing so, we not only empower our employees to thrive, but also contribute significantly to the organization's overall resilience and success. But thank you very much, Sufyan, for this opportunity.
Yes, thank you, Si Mohammed, for your approach. And now we're gonna be moving to the international studies approach, and we will have Shoroq, Jerome, and Asma Al-Arabi joining us.
Thank you, Sufyan, and thank you, Muhammad. So now we are going to talk about how can an international relations students approach the concept of change management and adaptability in the workplace. So first of all, we're going to talk about the global influence, monitor global events for business impacts, and quick strategy adjustments may be necessary. So this means that what happened in different countries around the world can have a big impact on how companies do things. So this could be because of things like trade deals, arguments between country, or trend in how the economy is doing. So businesses have to pay attention to these global events and be ready to make quick changes to their plans so they can stay competitive and strong. Also, the global interdependence exerts a profound influence on business operations worldwide. Trade deals with their potential to, after agreements, impact supply chains and pricing strategies. And the conflict between nations can culminate in trade restrictions, significantly um, affecting international businesses. So, economic trends, particularly during recessions, induce shift in consumer spending habits through be influencing prices, strategies, and expansions plans. So now we are going to move to cultural awareness with Asma.
So actually, the cultural awareness point, it is all about understanding and respecting the different ways people from different cultures act, think, and communicate. Especially when it comes to working in a global team, it is very important to know and to appreciate these differences. And when leaders get this right, it helps create a welcoming and cooperative environment where everyone can work together well, and even if they're coming from different backgrounds. Now let's move to
So
the
now we are
next
going to
point.
move to okay. So now we are going to talk about geopolitical risks. So this actually implies that businesses are susceptible to a range of risks stemming from various sources, such as political conflicts, trade dispute, or geopolitical instabilities in different regions of the world. Navigating through these potential challenges can be an arduous task for businesses. They must maintain a state of preparedness posed to implement rapid adjustments to their strategies and operations. So, for instance, in the event of a significant political upheaval, which could potentially disrupt supply chains after market access or affect collaborative ventures with other companies. So, businesses would need to swiftly reevaluate and structure their approaches. So, this adaptability is essential for ensuring continuity in operations and safeguarding against unforeseen disruptions.
And in order to understand the political risk analysis, it's like studying and predicting how politics and big international events might cause problems for a company. It actually involves keeping an eye on political news and figuring out how it might affect the business. Then the company needs to make backup plans in case things get difficult.
So now we are going to talk about this proficiency revolves around the art of effective communication and adaptively navigating through disagreements to find mutually beneficial solution, much like how the nation employ diplomacy and negotiation to reconcile their differences. So businesses can harness their skill to foster consciousness and propel progress, particularly in the minds of significant transformation endeavors. Take, for example, a scenario in which a company is contemplating a major strategic shifts in its operation. So various stakeholders, each each with their distinct perspectives and interests, may hold different viewpoints on the proposed changes. So feel free to ask any question if you have one. And now we are going to talk about the human rights with Asma.
Yes, the last point is about human rights and CSR. It is about businesses making sure they're doing the right thing when it comes to treating people fairly and being responsible in their actions. They need these businesses actually need to think about how their choices affect things like human rights all over the world. And this involves making plans and policies that make sure the company is acting ethically, both inside the company and the way it works with other companies. Thank you.
Thank you, Asma.
Yeah, if there's any question regarding this approach.
So I guess now we can move to the final approach, right? Sufyan, we can't hear you.
Okay, sorry for this technical issue. So now let's move to the psychology approach, which will be also be taken for by Shorok. And thank you, Asma, for your presentation.
So now we are going to talk about the psychology approach. Since our friend Hiba is facing some health issues, she can be here, so I'm taking this part. So to understand change management and adaptability at the workplace from a psychological perspective, we need first to know how individuals and team navigate transition and cope with evolving circumstances. Sorry. Psychologically, changes can often trigger a range of emotions such as fear, resistance, and uncertainty. Change is mostly uncomfortable, and affect change management take into account these emotional responses and aims to create a supportive environment that acknowledges and addresses them. It also demands communication strategies that emphasize the advantages of change and provide a clear roadmap for from the transition. So, adaptability, however, is a psychological trait that allows individuals to respond positively to changing situations. It is influenced by factors such as personality, cognitive flexibility, and resilience. So, encouraging adaptability in the workplace involve fostering a growth mindset and creating opportunities for employees to learn and develop new skills. Additionally, providing support and recognition to a more successful and released organization. All in all, managers should promote open and honest communication, encourage a growth mindset, and offer opportunities for skill development to make adaptability as easy as possible. And by incorporating these psychological principles, organization can create a culture that supports employees in navigating changes effectively and thriving in dynamic work environments. So that's it for the psychological approach.
Thank you, Shorok. And for now, we're gonna welcome our guest, Guilherme Skolman. And we would like to, uh, all of us as a group, to ask you some questions, and also for the audience, if they have some questions, of course. So, first of all, can you please introduce yourself and share a brief overview of your background and expertise?
Yeah, hi. My name is Guilherme Torres Schumann. I am an architect and urbanist here in Brazil. I have more than 3 years of experience in the construction market, and I am a specialist in BIM, which is Building Information Modeling, which is a technology that I use to design and build visually in 3D on computers, and thus have more accurate budgets and deadlines to avoid project errors. So
Yes, thank you.
Well,
So,
I do have a
yes, go ahead.
question for Guilherme, if it's possible.
Yes, go ahead, Mohammed.
okay.
Okay, thank you. So let's stick to the subject, and I want to ask you, how did you dealt with the change in the workplace?
Well, the construction market, construction job market has become increasingly technological and competitive. Uh, Engineers and architects need to study complex modeling programs to be able to design more efficient buildings with more accurate budgets. And I have also a background in IT, this change from designing from drawing on paper to designing using a complex 3D program was kind of easy because uh, it's been a long time since I have worked on computers, but architects have must to study a lot of IT because we have evolving every day basically. So
Yes, evolving. So you mean evolving technology in the workplace? So the technology never stops, and there is always new projects, new tools, new things to deal with. So is that the
yes,
case? Okay,
yes,
thank you very much.
because uh, we have a demanding sustainability issues. The customers want a more construction speed, and they don't want to spend much money. So the budget
Oh,
is very tight every time. So they want everything, and they don't want paid for everything. So
okay,
we must manage this balance
okay, sure.
basically.
Yes. Okay, so if you can tell us also about a little bit of your background and expertise.
How can I
Background
say?
of your career, your job, and also where did you start? How did you choose the major? A little bit of everything, if it's possible.
Well, I have started my career studying IT to be a programmer, but I didn't like so much of the coding process because I was just looking for a screen.
Okay,
So I basically love how the buildings are beautiful and how they tell the history. So and I always want to not make just a software that will be outdated in like few months. I wanted to build something that will last for decades, for more than my life. So
yes,
being an architect, you can build a lot of things and design it, but basically an entire city if you have the job. But uh, that's basically why that was the reason that I would choose architecture. It's you can do great things and you can change the lives of the people because
okay,
when when someone trusts you, they trust their entire saving, the entire life savings to build their houses. It's not a simple thing. You deal with the family dreams, you know.
okay. Yes. So I have a little comment here. Sorry, Sufyan, if you want to say something. But I have. How did you dealt with the change from the IT service to the architecture? I know there is a huge gap, a huge difference between the two fields. So what motivates you to change, to do this changement?
What was motivated me to study architecture instead of IT?
Yes, maybe.
Uh, as I said, when you work with IT, you're just working with basically the
Like
designing a
you mean like
software.
significant?
Yeah, I have. Sorry, the internet's not so good. Well, how can I say that?
You work in the technical things, not really in the workplace field, and you don't uh, be considered as the one who manage, right?
Yes,
Okay.
in architecture, I can speak for Brazil. We are so vast. We have so much things that we can do. We can basically the urbanist thing. We learn to design a city, to design a neighborhood, to design how a city works basically. This can be influenced by politics, can be influenced by a lot of things. And
Okay.
in the architecture field, you can just build a house, build an entire skyscraper. You can design a furniture. You can design the interior design. So yeah, I have a lot of fields that I can work, and I learn everything. I learn a little bit of everything, as I can say. And if the technological things like materials, like designing a hydraulic, like designing a structure, designing the facades of the
Mhm.
buildings. So in IT, you can design just a software basically, and in IT the things don't last. In architecture, last for years.
Yes. So I can see now why did you choose the architecture because of its all the background, its status in the culture in the workplace also, and that's it. Thank you for answering my question.
Welcome.
Okay, I have also a question for you. Like, you throughout your career, you must have gone through some change, and you also adapted through that change. Can you demonstrate maybe how you overcame change and how you actually adapted through that?
Um, well, how can I
Like,
explain that?
uh, have you
Um,
actually went through like change in, for example, in your workplace or something like that?
well, when I have worked in three construction companies, and all the three have three different experience. Uh, Sometimes you design using pen and paper, basically, just simple stuff, and in the other month you have to design a very complex thing using the computer, using technology. So you have to do constant. You have to never stop studying, as I can say. Um, it's kind of hard to explain that, but um, sorry.
Yes.
Make another question, please.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
Let's.
yes.
sure, sure, sure. Of course.
Let's move on to another question, of course. There's like no pressure.
Can
I guess.
I ask a last question? So I
Yeah.
just want to ask our guest, could you share some key lessons or insights you've gained throughout your professional journey?
Yes. When you work with things for a human being, I mean, when it comes to safety and human lives, you never have to take a shortcuts, uh, because in my profession, we have a lot of safety standards, and they exist for a reason. For example, you can cut the budget with not to using some safety standards, and then the people think, I don't need that, I don't need this this protection, this all this equipment for for saving money. You understand? So you must never do that, because if you have a safety standard, if you it may seem expensive to follow, but its most expensive thing is dealing with the tragedy, or with the overcome that could take the it's sorry it's more expensive dealing with the tragedy than uh, using a safety standard for to avoid that. So if your profession has rules, you must follow the rules. A doctor must follow, an architect, an engineer, and lawyer, and everything, because these laws, these rules exist for a reason, and uh, sometimes don't pay off to uh, to take these shortcuts. I don't know if I answer you correctly.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Is there any other
Okay,
questions
thank you.
from maybe the audience or the speakers?
I think there is a question for Shuruk from the comments on
Yes,
YouTube.
yes. We're gonna yes. So I think we move to the Q&A and get the questions from our audience. So I already see some questions. Okay. So let's take
Yes,
the
actually,
first
I see a
question.
question. It's what techniques can be used to effectively manage resistance during negotiations? So I can say that active listening, empathy, and addressing concern had on our key techniques to manage resistance during negotiation. And additionally, offering and clear communication and I think that's it. That are some keys to negotiation.
Okay. There is also another question for Asma by Noor.
Yes, the question says that why is it good for international business to understand different cultures? Well, the answer is actually understanding different cultures helps international businesses work better with people and from around the world and to avoid mistakes and do well in different global markets.
Okay. Let's see for other questions. There is a question for Shorok by Abdurrazzaq.
I think it's the one that I just answered. It's about negotiation,
Oh,
right?
it's the yes, yes. Okay. Feel free to ask questions whether it's for the speaker or for the speakers or the guests.
Well, let's ask the guests
Okay.
a question
Yes,
again,
there's
please, if we can go back.
okay. Let us just
Okay.
answer a question.
Okay.
So, question by Marwa. She says, "How can we successfully adapt to change at the workplace of a business institution?" Uh, there are some strategies to help you navigate workplace changes like effectively. For example, to successfully adapt to change for specifically for a business institution requires a strategic and holistic approach. For example, embracing a growth mindset by cultivating uh, a growth mindset is among employees to encourage the belief that challenges and change offer opportunities for learning and development rather than viewing them as threats. And we can also use effective communication. Uh, and by that, we can be clear and transparent in our communication because it's essential, especially for leaders. Leaders should communicate the reasons for change, the desired outcomes, and the role for each employee. Uh, for example, regular updates to reduce uncertainty and foster trust. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I can ask now.
Yes, yes, take.
Okay, thank you. So I want to ask the guest, so how can he or describe recent projects or achievements that he's particularly proud of, if we can say?
Well, I did an internship in a construction company in my city. It was a 19 story building, and 12 had already been built when I started the internship. And my role was to convert the entire project to BIM, the BIM technology, and discover possible errors and optimize the budget. While I was modeling the 3D, I discovered a serial structural error in the building elevators. And if it wasn't discovered in time, a fatal accident could be occurred because uh, I could manage to avoid this error thanks to the use of technology. And it's not and using this technology you can check the what was built in the construction site and what was in the actual project. So if you don't use technology to help you, it was nearly impossible to to
Ah,
see these errors.
okay. So talking about technology, what could be some significant challenges you've encountered in your career, and how did you overcome them, if we can say that?
Well, as I said previously, was discovering this structural error was basically was missing a beam in a concrete beam in the project, and I just was able to find it and solve this problem in time because as I said before, I followed all the safety standards uh, and all the laws, as I can say, to and how it's built. I mean, and I was able to see, and I checked this with the engineers when was responsible for the building, and this was a tragedy that was avoided, and I am kind of proud of that because it's a very tall building, and
Yeah.
structural problems is what you must never have.
So, what are the most interesting aspects of your field, and what keeps you passionate about it, and what keeps you also motivated to wake up and go to your company or your workplace?
Well, seeing the finished building is gratifying to know that you design or help to create a thing that will influence the lives of many people for years to come, will influence the landscape of the city. And it's a thing that a lot of people can see, it's a very gratifying thing to see the finished project.
Okay, thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you.
There is also a
I
question in the
see.
YouTube. Okay,
Yes, there is some questions. There's a
for the
question for
guests.
Shorok. He says, "How
So the
should
question is,
companies
how
act
could
facing those
companies act
yes
face go ahead, this
those
global
global
factor?
factors?"
Uh, so So I think that crises, whether in the form of natural disaster or global events, have the capacity to disrupt supply chains. So necessitating swift and strategic adjustments. Given these dynamics, businesses must demonstrate nimbleness, their response, as the ability to adapt swiftly to these global factors in paramount for maintaining competitiveness and resilience.
Okay, thank you, Shorok. There's also another question. I think it's for me. In businesses, is it easy to adapt to change? Well, actually, adapting to change in business can vary significantly depending on several factors, including the nature of change, the organization's culture, the industry, and the readiness of the employees themselves. So, in some cases, adapting to change can be relatively smooth, while others can be quite challenging, especially for the ones that uh, haven't experienced change before, especially in the workplace. It can be quite difficult for them. Okay, let's see if there is any other questions.
I think there is a question for the guest in the comment section from Abdurrazzaq. He said, for how could you
Yes,
give
yes,
us some advices?
yes.
Always have a very good network, because you not work for a machine, you work for people, and people know people. It's redundant, but if you don't have a if you don't have a good network, if you don't be honest with all those people, you never will succeed. As I can say, you can be the best, but if you don't talk, if you don't have a network, if no one likes you, you're not will able to work basically. So always create a good network. Go to events. Go to places where you want to be for your career, or uh, where where uh, where all the people that you want to work with are in those events. I mean, so if you have a good network, you have everything. You can you don't need to be the best worker. You just must to know the best people, the right people to do the work. So this is valid for everyone. That's it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, I agree with that actually. So I think that's
Thank
it,
you.
guys.
Yes, I don't see any other questions. So we thank you for attending our
Yes.
webinar. Also thank our guests for his time. And we thank all the
Thank you.
speakers. Thank you and see you.
Next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.